completely anonymized, so no one knows that it refers to you in any way, shape, or form. So
Okay.
it's very important to us that, we very much appreciate your time and also your privacy and hold it accordingly very high in our esteem. So thank you again for taking the time. When was the first time you ever thought about buying a yacht?
The first time I've had yachts or boats since I was 25. I'm 58, so
Quite a long time ago.
a long
So
time.
what was it that triggered it? Because I cannot imagine that one morning you woke up and you're like, oh, I need to have a yacht and let's go and get one. But how did they all occur? How did it come to that moment? Was there like a trigger moment or something in your past where you said, I always wanted to have that?
No, I was very young living in Venezuela. Venezuela is friendly for boats. It's Caribbean Sea. So a lot of people have boats, small boats. When you're young, you have fast, small speedboats, to go out with the girls and friends, and that's how all started. And then it just grew on me, and just getting buying bigger and bigger boats as
Eh,
older.
what can you describe to me what you mean growing on you?
Well, I just love being in the water and sea and doing water sports and liked it a lot. Became
Okay.
almost a way of life.
Ah, in what sense?
Well, my family grew in the water. We spent every weekend almost in the on the boats because with Venezuela it's a tropical weather, so you have the chance to use the boat in very nice weather all year round. So it was something that the family did. We did a lot, be on the boat. Our life has evolved, and my children have grown on boats.
Oh, how nice. Good for them. So in Venezuela, if I understand it correctly, it's practically a lifestyle. Everybody lives partially on the water.
Well, not everybody. You have to understand that you have to have the means for it. So, I mean, when I say a lot of people, I mean, there's in a certain part of the society, people very high end of the society, people have boats and enjoy boats because, again, there's very nice beaches, very great sea and islands and all that. So if you have the means, but people have the means. Some people have the means and don't enjoy boats. Boats, some people enjoy boats, some people don't enjoy boats. Our family, me and my family, very much enjoy boats. There is this saying that says that there are two happiest moments when you buy the boat and when you sell the boat. That's not our case. When we have
Mm.
sold the boat, we have been very sad. Fortunately, it's always because we're buying a new one. So
So you have a relationship to the water, actually.
yes, we really like we it's something very close. We've had 7 boats.
You mentioned sports. What
Yes.
kind of water sports are you referring to?
Well, we kite surf, we dive, we scuba dive. We also do some free diving. We ski, water skiing.
Your entire
Also,
family, I reckon.
the entire family, my wife, my children, my everyone, yeah, does water sports in my family.
You seem like a very busy man. You said that also the water and water sports and being on the boat brings the family together.
But yeah, it's always like that. In general, that's what the boats bring family together. And a nice time to be, kind of closed situation where everyone has to have breakfast together, lunch together, dinner together. So it's great it's a great family thing.
Yeah, that's important, I reckon, especially for somebody who's as busy as you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So, when you bought then your first yacht, even if it was a long time ago, how did you go about finding the right partner to do it with?
Well, it depends what you got. My first boat was a 20-footer boat, speedboat. So I don't know, that doesn't qualify as a yacht. So it depends at what point you want. You're asking what starting point. From that I grew to a 25. From that I grew to a 43. Then down to a 40. Then back up to a 44. Then to a 60. Then to an 80. Then to a 100-footer. So which one? Which one would
Which
you
one
consider my
you,
first boat?
okay, which one you believe was the first one that you would consider a yacht?
Yeah, I guess the 40, I guess the 40, 42, the 43. Well, I was looking for a robust, strong, for yachts are like cars, it's like most of the things. They're not good or bad. It just depends what you're going to use it for. So it depends on what you're going to use a car or a boat or a plane. It's good or bad. If you're going to just use a boat on a lake, well, it's not the same as if you're going to use a boat in high seas. It's not the same to use a boat in Holland than to use a boat in South Africa or the Mediterranean or the Caribbean. It's different seas, different weathers. So in this case, I was going to use a boat in Venezuela. It's kind of rough seas, and it's in the American hemisphere, so it was better to buy an American boat than a European boat because of parts and services. It's going to be used in Venezuela. So my considerations were service parts, easily accessible parts and services, and a strong boat, boat that I knew was a good quality boat. I went to with a Sea Ray at that time. It's an American boat, well built American boat.
And
And
were you happy with it?
I pretty much stayed with America. Well, no, I did have an azimuth in between an Italian boat, but European boats, Italian boats are very. The design is beautiful. They're not as good as strong, So then they're good, sort running around the Med in the in France and going from Monaco to Cannes, and that's good enough. But you want to do something a little longer, which is the kind of things I like to do, and strong, harder. You can buy them one of those Italian San Lorenzos, or they're not. I don't think they're, especially the Azimuths or the Venettis are not strong boats. They're beautiful boats. The design is wonderful, but they're not strong. So depends on what you're going to do with the boat. Again, if you're going to use the boat to go around Monaco, you don't need a strong boat. You need a beautiful boat. A
Yeah,
beautiful
and
boat is more than enough because you're just gonna sit there at the dock and have dinner with your friends. So you don't need a strong boat.
yours was, and you really look for something that fits your particular purpose.
Of course, that's what I always look for: strong boats with long range because I like to make long trips. And when you make long trips, you may encounter bad weather. So with strong boats, long range, that's for me the most important thing.
What do you consider a long trip? So I can get an idea what you
It
mean by
depends.
that.
It depends. It depends because I went below. My biggest boat was a 35-meter, the last one. With that kind of motorboat, you cannot go that long. That's 1,000 miles, 800 miles trip. So that's what I will spoke with Vripack because I was moving up to an explorer in order to go around the world to go really long. So for me, a long trip it's that. A long trip is at least 1,000 miles, 500 miles.
That's quite a distance, yeah. So how did you find out about Repack?
Well, I'm subscribed to the boating magazines, and I saw a boat that they built. The R3, I think it was RH3. It was in the cover of a magazine, and I looked at the boat and I said, "This is the boat I want." At that time, I was thinking about buying a bigger boat, a boat like that. So I just saw it was them, and I wrote to them. I got their website and their email, and I wrote to them. I said, I want to talk to you guys because I want something similar to this.
Well, that's the ideal. I mean, what more can a company wish for? Somebody sees their product and says, I want to have it.
I did talk to other designers, naval architects. I did like kind of like a contest between four. I talked to Fedship, I talked to Vripack, I talked to a couple Italian yards, talked to Spanish, not yards. Well, the Dutch was the yards, and a couple of other architects, and asked them for from drawings and ideas. And at the end, Vripack came on top.
Why did they come out on top?
They're the right combination. It's a Dutch firm, which is kind of gives you some confidence that they know what they're doing. They did have some experience on the kind of boat that I wanted. That strong, long range, explorer looking boat. They're kind of specialized in that kind of boat. So I like the design that I gave them the input and they came out with a design that I liked. So they more or less checked all the boxes.
Oh, and the other ones didn't check then the boxes.
A couple of them were good. The Italian, I think it was. Baglietto came in with a good design, but it was Italian, and and it was a yard. I had to build with them. With Vripack, I could go on tender with different yards, and so it was a more open way of approach. With Baglietto and even Fedship, they did a nice design, but you have to do it with them. Apart that they were more expensive, more costly, but Vripack, was kind of in the middle. It was an independent architectural design firm, naval architecture firm. You could go and tender the final project with anyone, so they had no conflict of interest, to say something. And they had experience with the kind of boat that I was looking for. They had built a few similar boats. They had done the RH3 boat, which is the boat the family really liked. So they checked all the boxes.
Oh, interesting. And how were your interactions with them?
Very good, really. I mostly interacted with Bart, and he's a really nice guy, really forward-looking, receptive to the ideas. Very good work.
And it's important that he was receptive to your ideas.
Very receptive. We made a good team. If they were available to fly to where I was. I was in the Med a few times on my other boat. They flew down to look at the concepts, and they brought a VR machine headset for me to watch the final design. So they did a pretty good job, I would say.
So they were very flexible to your
They were
needs.
flexible. They adapted. They gave it good ideas. I think I'm pretty. Let's say I was so comfortable with them.
So they made you feel comfortable.
Yes, definitely. If I was going to build a boat, build a boat, because I didn't build a boat at the end. I would probably go back to with them for the design and tender with a few yards and go ahead. Not like I would say, no, I didn't like what they did, and I would go find another guys. No, I would just go back to them and finish what we started.
Ah, that makes sense. Why is it that you didn't go through with it, if I may
Well,
inquire?
I was kind of going through changes, moving to Madrid, changing businesses, and I bought a big farm. It was a big investment in Spain, so it wasn't the right time to keep going.
Yeah, but it's still in the back of your mind.
Oh, it's a dream. Well, actually, what I did is I bought a. Also, had this sustainability thing in my head. I mean, I think that I've always thought that that I think that boats are going to have a problems at some point because they're very too bad to the environment. Those diesel engines and the boats in general, those big yachts are not sustainable or sustainable friendly. So I bought a like a French catamaran sailboat, and it's more aligned with my family's values now in terms of protecting the environment and not using diesel and big engines. So now we bought a smaller cat, French a lagoon, and we actually I bought it 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and we're going to have it delivered next month. So
Excellent.
so we're going to start enjoying it next month. But it's a different kind of thing. We're moving from a big motor yacht to smaller sailboat or cat.
But if it's a
But
catamaran, they have, in comparison, even if they're shorter, more space available.
that's why it's comfortable because it's been a cat. It's wide. It's the beam. It's a wide beam.
Balanced, yeah.
Family wise, we have 4 grandchildren and more coming. So and we spend a lot of family time. So family wise,
Congratulations.
cat will do the job, and it's sustainable. I do want to do that trip around the world, and I can do it on that boat because it's sail propelled with the wind. And also for Bahamas, which I'm gonna keep it in Miami, it's a low draft boat, so being a cat, so it's perfect for my actual circumstances.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that sounds great. Did you, when you bought the catamaran, but Repack couldn't assist you in that one, could they?
Yeah, but because that's a production boat. It's a
Oh, okay.
65 lagoon. It's not a one off. It's a production boat.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking you probably bought a Sunreef one, you know?
No, no, I know the Sunreef. I have a friend that has a Sunreef. They're it's like the Italian motor yachts. They're beautifully designed. They're not as good to sail to perform as performance wise. they're not as good because they're heavy. Since they're so nice, so well designed, they're heavy. So people love them for the design because if you're gonna use them as a houseboat, great, because they're beautiful, beautiful design, beautiful finishes, wood and stainless steel all over the place. But that makes it a heavy boat too. And in sailing, you probably know weight. It's a critical factor.
That makes sense.
So I prefer a not as beautiful. So but lagoon is it's somewhere in between. It's not a performance boat. It's a cruise. It's a cruise boat. It's a nice, very nice boat, but it's not as nice, and it has better performance than the Sunreef.
But for you, it was also important that it's more sustainable.
Oh
Correct.
well, there's a sustainability. But you also get that with the Sunreef because it's sail with wind propelled.
Yeah,
And
also with the solar panels, etc.,
now they're
etc.
coming out with big solar panel boats, and actually I'm putting solar panels all over my boat, so I can probably without not use the air conditioning, the rest of the boat can be sustained with solar panels. So again,
Excellent.
this boat is much aligned with my values today. And Sunreef has a new one with the solar panels, but it's a new technology, and I don't know. We have to see how that comes out. Actually, my friend had big problems with Sunreef from the boat. He bought a big one, an 80-foot, and it was a sailboat. He had to turn it into a power cat because he had problems with the mast and lighting here in Miami. So he took off the mast and transformed it into a power boat. And he had a big fight with Sunreef. I think they've come a long way, Sunreef, but I think still the best catamarans are made in France.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I understand where you're coming from. So you're looking forward to the when is it coming?
End of November, I will take a
End of
delivery.
November. You're gonna take it right for a nice trip?
Well, it will cross the Atlantic to the Caribbean.
Oh, directly. Take her out on a big one.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Perla, my mother's name.
Ah, that's nice. And you're still in the back of your head thinking about, oh, Explorer might be
Oh,
some.
that's my dream boat. Boat that I designed with Vripack. It took us 2 years to design. That's the dream boat for me. But it's costly. Maintenance is high, and I was getting into a lot of big investing in different businesses in a new country and bought a
Yeah,
farm. So I didn't. It wasn't wise to make that investment at the time. But if things get better in a couple of years, and maybe I'll go into that. But I have to balance the sustainability issue.
makes
Uh,
sense.
Maybe in a couple, in 2 or 3 or 4 years, they have things have evolved and the propulsion has maybe there are
Propulsion, yeah.
hydrogen powered motor yachts with engines powered by hydrogen or electric, and it won't be as big as an issue. But as of today, we're still using those big diesel engines.
Well, it makes sense. As a matter of fact, we are talking to owners on a almost like on a daily base, and you're the second one in all these conversations we have that actually made this conscious decision to say, I want to have something more sustainable. Uh,
Well, I think it depends on your values. So, the world is collapsing. You can see what's going on. You have to do something about it yourself.
yeah, that's true.
You see what's going on in Antarctica, the meltdowns of the glaciers, and all of that. Weather, there is a climate crisis. The world has to change, and everyone needs to do something about it.
We need to change, yeah, every single one of us. Yeah, absolutely right. And you are also absolutely right that the industry is struggling with that issue, to say the least. Yeah.
They are. It's a big change. It's a paramount change. It's not an easy change because the new technologies haven't been proven yet. And people want their yachts, the big yachts, and they need those big machines that guzzle diesel and move them. The name of the game still.
Makes sense. I can see where you come from. I reckon your farm is also then based on the sustainability principle.
Absolutely, we have ecological agriculture. Even more than that, it's called regenerative agriculture. We regenerate the soil. We leave it better than we received it. every year, right? Right. We don't use anything that harms the soil or the crops, and then also we have a program also of animals. We have bisons and it's under extinction. It's a program that we have in the farm.
Oh, excellent. Sounds great. In terms of coming back to Repack, was there anything that, because you have a lot of interaction with everybody in the ecosystem of yachting, so to say, is there anything that you say, they probably could learn from that, probably they should do this, or probably they should do something else, or were you all like, no, they're perfect the way they
No,
are?
I don't think I have something I can add to what they do and how they do it. Again, like I said, I think they're pretty good at what they do.
Marvelous. So, is there anything else you would like to add, Mr. Capriles?
No, no, no.
Because I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man, so I don't want to push my luck, as I say.
Oh,
And
it's a
I wish
pleasure.
you the very best for your catamaran coming at the end of November, and also the very best for your farm and for your
Okay.
investment there. It sounds great. I really could sign up for that. Coming from California, for me, when I came to Europe, it was kind of a shock, but that there was nothing going on in terms of sustainability and so on. But I see things are catching up, and I really appreciate it. And it's courtesy to people like you that you put that on the map and you do your part. So it's most appreciated.
Thank you. Well, thank you, and it's a pleasure.
Pleasure making your acquaintance. Whenever you're in Monaco or when you're around, just drop me a line so we can meet for a coffee down at the marina or here at the university so we can show you a little bit of what we are doing, because we are just in the process of global study regarding sustainability, not just for the yachting industry, but in general. So that might be
Okay,
of
great.
interest to you.
Yeah, will do. Thank you,
Thank you
Professor.
so very much.
All right. Thank
Have
you.
a great day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.